Pokemon. Ask anyone and few will deny the impact this phenomenon has had for the last 20 years. However, after 7 generations, I think it's time for me to leave the franchise behind. But before I do that, I thought I would give off one final send-off to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the series, with the most generic and unoriginal topic I could think of. I'm gonna talk about my personal favorite pocket monsters. Hooray for originality! Now, with exactly as of now 802 of these little creatures to choose from, obviously we're not gonna see eye to eye when it comes to favorites. So if I missed out on one of yours, feel free to talk about it in the comments below. And trust me, there was a lot that I really enjoyed that I wasn't able to put on this list. Now, this list will stretch from Gen 1 to Gen 7 and will mainly focus on the main series games, since I haven't played too many of the spin-offs and I haven't watched the show in like forever. Although it will have some impact due to nostalgia. So, without further ado, let us throw into this vast and diverse cast of potential teammates. Out of the original starters, everyone's got their favorite, and for me, the Bulbasaur line has always been mine. And since I like my creatures big, I'm going with Venusaur as my 15th favorite overall Pokemon. While its design is unique, like seriously, what even is Venusaur? Its tight combination of grass and poison is far from it, especially in Gen 1. However, its ability to effectively be used offensively or defensively are never to be underestimated thanks to its balanced stats and vast usable move pool. Venusaur's flexibility when it comes to fitting a team role makes it a very valuable choice to have in your party if you're playing competitive or just having a nice relaxing run through this story, especially in the original Red and Blue. I'm looking at you, Brock and Misty. Of course, being a part of the original trio of starters, Venusaur was given a Mega Evolution in 6th generation, which did the one thing no one thought was possible. It made it even fatter. Literally. With the thick fat ability, Mega Venusaur has basically removed its weakness to both fire and ice, and it became one of the best warriors in the entire game thanks to its numerous ways to regain HP with moves like Giga Drain, Leech Seed, and Synthesis. All in all, Venusaur is one classic that won't be forgotten anytime soon. Cruising carelessly through the waters of Johto, we have Mantime. Based off the elusive yet gentle Manta Ray, Mantime has always been one of those feel-good Pokemon in my eyes, thanks to its wonderfully simplistic design and the fact that it comes with its own Remoraids. At least in its old sprites. In fact, its evolution from Mantrike requires you to have a Remoraid in your party to do so, which is a very unique evolution method. In battle, Mantime specializes as a special wall, thanks to its huge special defense, only weakness to electric, and access to the water absorb ability. Unlike other Pokemon who have gotten weaker as the generations have gone on, Mantime is one of the few to actually improve slightly with each future installment, with it getting access to moves like Scald and Air Slash in Gen 5, and finally a reliable recovery move in Roost in Gen 7. Of course, you can't blame Game Freak for wanting to keep Mantime relevant, just look at his face! Foster Pokemon have always been a fan favorite, to the point that it's hard to find a list that doesn't at least have one on there somewhere, and I'm no different. Flying in from the original 151, the smooth and highly carnivorous Aerodactyl is still the only unevolving foster Pokemon, and definitely the fastest. Boosting one of the highest speed stats of all non-legendary Pokemon, Aerodactyl makes for a fantastic sweeper. It was also given a Mega Evolution in 6th Gen, which along with the ability Tough Claws, which boosts all contact moves, it also increases its attack and speed even more, making it all the more effective at its job. But sweeping isn't the only thing it's good at, since if played right, Aerodactyl can help out its team by setting up Stealth Rock or Tailwind easily if it's able to force a switch out. If that wasn't enough, Aerodactyl was also starred one of my favorite episodes of the original season of Pokemon as a kid, which climaxed with it facing off with Ash's newly evolved Charizard, which it shouldn't have lost to thanks to its huge type advantage. This show is bullshit! You know, there has been a major lack of ghost types on this list.
You want to see something strange and mystical?
Okay, then I guess that fixes that then. Introducing Cofagrigus, a possessed sarcophagus whose hobbies include eating grave robbers and evolving from one of the most tragic Pokemon ever created. Like seriously, Yamask gives Cubone a run for its money. Cofagrigus has a terrific concept that has been long overdue to be introduced in the 5th generation, but I'm not complaining since I was finally able to use a Ghost Mummy on my team during my first run of Black and White, and its bark proved to be very useful during my playthrough. Sadly, it has a lackluster offensive move pool, and like most Ghost types has very low HP, but Cofagrigus can actually turn this into advantage thanks to its access to Pain Split and other defensive moves. However, what really makes Cofagrigus stand out is his ability Mummy, that not only replaces the opponent's ability, but can actually be passed on to others like an actual curse, including your own Pokemon. But if you're smart, it could be passed on to one of your teammates that has a hindering ability, like say a Slack King, or dare I say, a Regigigas? Now that's a scary thought. The only representative of Gen 6 to make it on this list is the venomous Leviathan, Dragalge. Based off the Leafy Sea Dragon, Dragalge made it onto my team during my first run through the Kalos region thanks to its majestic yet eerie design, and unique typing in Poison and Dragon. Which is a fantastic type combination by the way, which I have been waiting for like forever. Combine it with the fact that it was blessed with impressive stats in its defenses, and you have an excellent one that won't be going down anytime soon, especially when equipped with a Black Sludge or an Assault Vest. However, what I truly love about Dragalge is the fact that it is one of the few Pokemon gifted with the highly useful but elusive ability, Adaptability, which greatly increases the damage done by its stab moves. Pair this with a surprising excellent offensive move pool including Sludge Bomb, Scald, Thunderbolt, and Draco Meteor, means Dragalge can deal as much damage as it can take. With its vast variety of movesets, either as utility, bulky, special attack, or straight up wall, Dragalge is one Pokemon I can easily put on many of my teams. Just don't expect it to outspeed most opponents. It is still basically a piece of seaweed at the end of the day.
You want to see the face of destruction? It's your boy Golisopod, the giant-ass armored water bug type that stopped the hearts of everyone who first encountered it in Sun and Moon. So naturally I was first in line to use one. Golisopod's evolution from Whippod is both hilarious and impressive, going from an extremely weak Pokemon that has an ability that makes it automatically run away when it loses half of its HP, to a giant Shogun-like insect that also runs away when it loses half HP. Okay then. Of course, what I love most about this whole situation is that Golisopod is the ace Pokemon of Big Bad Guzma himself, which means he had to waste a tiny little Wimpod, which is an image I just can't get out of my head. Despite its ability, Golisopod is no pushover, having great bulk and even greater attack, and while it's very slow, it makes up for it with its vast access to priority moves like Sucker Punch, Aqua Jet, and its signature move, First Impression, a 90 base power priority bug move that thankfully can only be used once per switch in. But, as luck would have it, it pairs perfectly well with its ability, giving it numerous opportunities to use it. Guess I wasn't joking when I called it the face of destruction. Gen 4 was a generation that was well known for trying to make old Pokemon relevant again, mainly by giving them new evolutions, and while a lot missed the mark like Licky and Magmortal, Electivire not only hit it, but demolished it, since Electivire as an evolution for Electabuzz is a complete success in my eyes. It feels natural, and admittedly Electabuzz really needed one. And come on, it's a giant electrical yeti, how is that not a fantastic concept? With amazing stats all around, Electivire is one of the few electric types that can not only hit hard, but also take a beating himself. Even though it's not the fastest, it can make up for it with its ability Motor Drive, which increases its speed when hit by an electric move, allowing for an easy sweep if played right. While it is more often than not used primarily as a physical attacker, it can very easily go mixed or even full special thanks to its stats and vast move pool, like Thunderbolt, Cross Chop, Flamethrower, and all of the elemental punches. Electivire is not only a great take on an old classic, but one that surpasses the original, unless you're a hardcore Gen 1 fan. I just wish that you didn't have to trade it over with a Motor Drive to make it evolve. Had to be a downside somewhere, I guess. Me and legendary Pokemon often don't see eye to eye. Don't get me wrong, most of them have some of the best concepts the franchise has to offer, and in battle, they are often second to none. But I personally find them a bit dull to use, and rarely live up to the hype that's been built up for them through their games. Not to mention how rare it is to actually use one on an actual playthrough. There were a few like Kirwin and Ho-Oh that almost made it onto this list, but the only legendary Pokemon I can truly say I love is Genatech. Aside from the fact that I received one at the beginning of Black 2 through a mystery gift and went on a complete rampage with it through the entire game, its design and backstory are what made it a clear choice for this list. Genatech was originally a currently unknown prehistoric Pokemon that was revived and technologically enhanced by Team Plasma to use as a weapon, which included giving it a freaking laser cannon on its back. And as we know, laser cannons make everything better. In battle, Genatech is a dangerous mixed attacking sweeper that can easily tear through opposing teams, and thanks to its dual bug steel typing, it only has to worry about fire attacks, which in hindsight is a bit ironic due to the whole laser cannon thing. Along with a signature move in Techno Blast, which typing depends on which drive Genatech is holding, Genatech may have one of the best offensive move pools, including highlights like U-Turn, Flash Cannon, Ice Beam, and Blaze Kick. Nothing left to say, but
You may fire when ready.
the very idea that Game Freak has gotten away with a Pokemon inspired by a Hellhound will never cease to amaze me, even after knowing half the stuff they hid in their Pokedex entries. Houndoom is a dual fire dog type, first appearing in Generation 2, and has been one of my favorites since I first laid eyes on it. Like most fire types, it is mainly used as a special attacker, but its attack stat is still usable and can catch people off guard with a Crunch or Sucker Punch. Aside from its fire and dark moves, Houndoom's biggest problem is its lack of coverage, with Solar Beam and Sludge Bomb being its best options. As of Generation 6, Houndoom was one of the few given a Mega, and dear lord, look how metal this thing looks! Hands down, Mega Houndoom has one of the best designs of any Mega Pokemon, even though he gained Solar Power as his new ability, which is a major downgrade in my opinion from Flash Fire, since it makes him more weather reliant. Despite its appearance and what the Pokedex has to say about it, including Everlasting Burns and comparing it to the Grim Weeper, in the show I don't ever remember it appearing as anything other than a loyal and helpful companion, like any dog should be. Plus Houndoom was my favorite trading cards as a kid, despite having no idea how to play the game. So cool! Let me just start by saying I have absolutely no idea why I enjoy Claydoll as much as I do. Yet I would not feel right if I didn't have it at least this high. I like to think we all have a favorite Pokemon that we have a hard time explaining, and for me it just so happens to be this thing. Claydoll is a psychic ground type that is actually designed off a very interesting source, the Duga, ancient Japanese figures that are often thought to be spacemen. Cause you know, kids would totally know what that is, right? It's practically common sense. Even though we don't exactly know the purpose of these dolls, we can at least say they led to the design of one very strange Pokemon. Despite being a psychic ground type, it doesn't specialize in offense, like other Pokemon with either type tend to be, but instead acts more as a wall, boosting both great physical and special defense. Even though its role as a wall has greatly diminished since its introduction, it still maintains one key niche that no other Pokemon has been able to fill, and that's being the only Pokemon with Levitate that can learn Rapid Spin, allowing it to remove hazards, minus Stealth Walk, without being negatively affected. Although this fact has never stopped me from playing around with offensive style Claydolls. It's got some great stab moves and surprisingly good coverage. Hey, if Game Freak won't show any love to Claydoll, I sure as hell will. The three-headed terror in the pseudo-legendary Gen 5, Hydreigon is the very definition of a powerhouse. Hydreigon's highest stat is his special attack, unlike every other pseudo that has come before and after. Yet thankfully it isn't a slouch in his other areas, being pretty bulky and being far from slow. But it would still probably need a choice scarf if you wanted to outspeed most things in sweep. Despite the fact that it would be in your best interest to use its vast selection of attacks, including Dragon Pulse, Crunch, Flamethrower, and Earthquake, it also has some great utility moves it can easily make use of, like Taunt, Roost, and Dragon Tail. This combination of a large move pool and high stats basically makes it a jack of all trades, allowing for a lot of different sets and roles you can use Hydreigon as. Of course, while viability is all nice and grand, the real reason I enjoy Hydreigon is its concept alone. A three-headed Brutish dragon that always is nearly on a rampage? You had me at three-headed. Of course, Hydreigon has one tiny little problem I have a hard time looking over. It doesn't become one until it hits level 64. How is that acceptable? What's your secret, Gastus, you hacking cheating bitch? Oh, Totodile. You were my first starter on my first ever Pokemon journey through Crystal. Oh, what a wonderful time. Especially since I never got to play the original games. Not that I am in any way resentful for that, not in the slightest. I'm not gonna lie, nostalgia is the primary reason Totodile is as high as it is, and why I don't have Feraligatr its final evolution in this spot. But it's not like it's the only reason I enjoy Totodile so much. Sure, as a starter it doesn't have the greatest stats, at least not till it evolves, and it's fairly balanced with its focusing more on its attack. It's far from unusable, especially against those in the same weight class, and its primary water typing, while not exactly uncommon, is still very good. But most importantly, Totodile is adorable, which we all know is the most important thing in this franchise. You can't deny the truth. Just because Totodile was my first starter doesn't mean it was my favorite of the second generation. That honor goes to Steelix. With its sunken eyes, huge underbite, and rotating body sections, plus the fact it's basically a giant metal snake, there was no avoiding it digging its way into the spot and establishing it as a must-have for my first ever team. Too bad I didn't realize I had to trade an Onyx holding a metal coat at the time to get one. Long story short, never got to use one during my first run through Crystal. As for what Steelix excels at best in game, it's definitely as a defensive wall, since it holds one of the highest defensive stats in the entire franchise, made all the better thanks to its steel ground typing. Unfortunately, Steelix lacks variety in its gameplay, mainly used to set up hazards like Stealth Walk, switch out opponents with moves like Roar and Dragon Tail, and once in a while dealing damage with Earthquake or Gyro Ball. The addition of its Mega Form in 6th gen also didn't exactly change things up for Steelix, since all it did was make it better at its job, and make it more stylish. In the end, it's still a badass and reliable partner to have on your team. I hold it in high regard for a reason.
Oh, it's cute!
No, it's a very intimidating monster.
Kawaii desu.
Stop fucking petting it!
I haven't enjoyed a Pokemon as much as I have with Bewail in a long time, and it's 100% to do with its concept. When Bewail was first leaked, I honestly thought it was one of the dumbest designs I ever saw come out of the series, but the more I dissected and learned about it, the more it grew on me to a scary degree. Which makes sense since despite its appearance, Bewail may be one of the most terrifying and dangerous Pokemon to ever encounter. And I'm not even joking because out of every Pokemon the series has introduced, Bewail is the only one to my knowledge that has people creating warning signs about. Not the destructive Tyranitar or the hardest to summon cargo, Bewail is the one people in the game actually go out of the way to warn each other about. Now you might be wondering how it got this reputation. Well, Bewail has a nasty little habit of wandering around and easily snapping people's spines without effort through its quote-unquote bear hugs. And his strength is easily represented in battle. As a dual fighting and normal type, Bewail naturally has a very high attack set, as well as high HP. But thanks to his unique ability Fluffy, in exchange for an additional weakness to fire, it only receives half damage from all physical contact moves, meaning Bewail will be eating up hits for days. The conflicting appearance and how it actually functions is what makes this Pokemon for me. It's so polarizing, but fits so well that there's no way I could deny it at this spot. Plus, while finding clips for this segment, let's just say I really enjoy what they're doing with Bewail in this show. It's actually really funny. My number one pick for my favorite Pokemon is the OG of the OG. That's right, it's Rhydon, the first Pokemon ever actually designed. Now that isn't a big reason why I love Rhydon this much, it's just the cherry on the cake for me. Now there's no emotional or deep reason why Rhydon is my favorite, and to be frank, there doesn't have to be. Neither has Rhydon ever played a huge role in either the games or the show. Yet again, that doesn't matter. Rhydon is my favorite because when Pokemon just started to boom in popularity, it was the one that stood out and I enjoyed the most out of the original 151 as Pokemania swept across my school. Visually, I always enjoyed how smooth its place looked, and of course I could never ignore its signature drill horn, which I remember correctly was often put to great comedic use in the anime. I remember wanting the card so badly for it that I actually had my first ever card trade in order to attain it. Every game that has presented me with the opportunity to use a Rhydon, I have always jumped at the chance to use one, no matter how late I was in the game. Heck, during my first ever Pokemon journey when I first encountered a Rhydon on Victory Road, I automatically placed it on my team and proceeded just to mainly use him for the rest of my playthrough. Sure, Rhydon's got a more powerful evolution in Rhyperior in Gen 4, has pretty unbalanced stats, and has loads of weaknesses, but I don't care, and is not looking past one's flaws and still enjoying is not what makes things our favorites. But to be fair, Rhydon's got great offensive typing, great attack and defense, a huge move pool, and is one of the best users ever liked. So he is viable, so shut your face. Is my favoritism for Rhydon mainly built upon nostalgia? Yeah it is, but I feel it's built on nostalgia for the best reasons, because Rhydon is a kick-ass pocket monster from a kick-ass franchise. And that's my personal top 15 favorite Pokemon of all time. Despite leaving the franchise, I still probably keep my eyes on it, and who knows, I'll probably betray my own declaration and return for one final journey. But probably not. Now, I would like to thank you all for watching my little list through memory lane, and as I said at the beginning, I encourage you to leave your favorites in the comments below, because let's be honest, what are the chances of us having the same favorites on this list? Now, with that out of the way, I wish you all a good day or a good night. I'm out, everybody.